Okay, so let's just settle into our meditation posture. And just check, just check where your mind is at this evening. It's like Hin was saying, she had a bit of a hard time yesterday, wasn't so happy this morning, and now she's feeling better. So, it's that things change and everything is impermanent. And my friend next door, Cindy, who's had this, had an eye infection and almost lost sight in her eye. She still can't see very well. It's been for 2 months. It's slowly changing, but it's making her feel a little unhappy. So another friend had a heart attack. Didn't realize it was a heart attack. So, all these things that happen to all of us, depending on our karma, our afflictions, and for some of us, it's purification. So whatever's going on for you right now, just rejoice in the purification, rejoice. Lama Zopa Rinpoche would say, just like this tiny thing that, relatively is enormous purification, because it would be far worse than the hell realms. So anyway, just settle into your meditation. Bring your mind, just bring your mind inside. Take a nice deep breath. One of the things Kadrala said yesterday was when you're meditating, just be relaxed. And she did urge people not to sit with too straight of a spine. So remember, we do have natural curves in our spine, but what we're trying to avoid is kind of a compromised posture, slumping. So just lengthen the spine. Put some space in between those vertebrae. Imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light, stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. And just think if there are any sounds in your environment, just allow those sounds to be there. And bring the mind to the breath, just noticing the thoughts as they arise. And maybe you can put them into kind of categories. A thought, perhaps you could just say to yourself, oh, I'm thinking here. So very, very often our mind is just running away. And we can put a lasso around it, control it. And then maybe you can put your thoughts on a little white fluffy cloud or a little white fluffy lotus and send it off. And you can say to yourself, there goes remembering. That's a memory. And oh, that was a story. And that was recounting events of today. That's kind of remembering. You can just put it on there and just send it off. I think with our virtuous thoughts, it's good to kind of just try and hold that feeling of goodness, kindness, compassion. And then bring to mind all the people of your life. So the loved ones are very dear, very, very dear friends. And then there's those folk we don't like so much. And then there's those people in our life who are really strangers to us. Remembering those relationships can change place at any time. And think they're all equal in their wish to be happy, and their wish to be free from suffering, and having this extraordinary capacity for this enlightened mind. So just remembering there is no negativity that cannot be purified, and this purification process is basically, it's a psychological process. We're working with the mind. So Lama Yeshe used to say we create negativity with our mind, so we can equally change that by creating positivity instead. So we start with the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you've done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all past lives. And just think. The reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. So we do everything we experience, everything we see, everything we smell, everything we eat, every friend that we meet, every conversation we have, the way it goes, what happens to us in our lives is all based on our past actions. So given that we understand what all of our suffering feels like, we don't want any more of it. So it makes sense that we would try and pull out those karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering, and also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest of the cause of why we harm others. And think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance, refuge. We rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, the doctor, who has the methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we need the Buddha to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has this beautiful radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two. And this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of someone you may have harmed recently, in the past, and then maybe in general, all beings you've ever harmed since beginningless time. And then think of those folks who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you will result as some kind of suffering in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these sentient beings, and think I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the medicine, doing the practice of purification. So we start with the body, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dira Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dira Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva ahom pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita didu meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahom pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabao mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Dida meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Dida meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Dida meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. So be delighted that all the harm you have ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. So next is a purification of speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine that all the gossip, the harsh speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs, all this kind of inappropriate speech, all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Dida meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Dida meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Dida meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Dida meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Dida meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Dida meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Dida meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech. So the next is the purification of the mind, and Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra this time. And just imagine it arcs around, enters your crown, and fills your entire being. So it's just the same as when you walk into a pitch black room, you flick on that switch, the light instantly dispels the darkness. So the same here, the moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all the attachment and neediness, anger, depression, any violence, insecurities, grudges, bitterness, anxieties, and depression, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsasawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsasawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsasawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsasawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsasawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsasawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsasawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe. So be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely gone. And then think there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And imagine this time Vajrasattva sending light and nectar fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind. Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsasawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsasawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsasawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsasawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahompe Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya Vajrasapa dinapatita Dida meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kamasita me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahompe Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya Vajrasapa dinapatita Dida meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kamasita me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahompe Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya Vajrasapa dinapatita Dida meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kamasita me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahompe So now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to enlightenment have been removed. So now we come to the power of resolve. And this is a really important part of the practice, making a decision to try and refrain from harm. And you'll probably be surprised at how some of the habits that you have are starting to atrophy. Some of the ways that we think that lead us to do certain actions are probably starting to kind of reform and be different. So just rejoice in that. And then if there's something that you might think that would be helpful to work on, something to do with speech, maybe, or anything, some habit, maybe you want to try and reduce that somehow, shine a light onto it. And then think how amazing. This determination to not do again or to refrain from doing gives us energy, gives us power, gives us strength to change. So imagine Vajrasattva's delighted with us, wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think my Guru's body, speech, and mind, my Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same thing. So next, Rinpoche would recommend to meditate on the emptiness. So he starts with the emptiness of the three circles. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. We can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this purification to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. Shayla, do you have access to, I think we've done, I guess by listening to Kadrala singing that Swift Return prayer, we could probably just say we've done it. Let's just do His Holiness and then finish, because we're on the hour. The wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. Okay, everybody. Lots of love.